He lived with her corpse, then killed again. Imagine this. A man living day after day, night after night, in a small apartment with the decomposing body of the woman he claimed to love, the woman carrying his unborn child. Instead of seeking help, he's sitting at his computer, searching for ways to cover his tracks, ways to get away with murder. This is the story of Torrey Moore, a man whose actions shocked an entire community and left investigators reeling. From a brutal killing in his own home to a second, senseless murder in broad daylight, this case is a chilling descent into darkness. Buckle up, because this story is as disturbing as it gets. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a deep dive into the darkest corners of true crime. Let's get started. Silver Spring, Maryland, just outside Washington, D.C., is a bustling suburban community known for its diversity and charm. In 2022, it was home to 31-year-old Torrey Moore and his girlfriend, Denise Middleton. The couple had been together for about 2 years, and Denise was 8.5 months pregnant with their child, a little boy they had already named. To the outside world, they seemed like any other couple preparing to welcome a new life. But behind closed doors, something far more sinister was brewing. Denise, 29 years old, was described by friends and family as warm, vibrant, and full of life. She was excited about becoming a mother and had been meticulously preparing for her baby's arrival. Torrey, on the other hand, was more reserved. Acquaintances described him as quiet, sometimes intense, with a temper that could flare unexpectedly. Still, no one could have predicted what would happen on October 17, 2022. On that fateful day, surveillance cameras captured Torrey and Denise entering their apartment complex together. It was the last time Denise would be seen alive. What happened inside their apartment is nothing short of horrific. At some point that evening, Torrey Moore picked up a gun and shot Denise in the head, killing her instantly. Her body fell to the floor, and with it, the life of their unborn child was extinguished. You'd think that in the aftermath of such a tragedy, Torrey would call 911, overwhelmed with guilt or panic. But that's not what happened. Instead, Torrey made a chilling decision. He left Denise's body right where it was, in their shared apartment. For nearly a month, he continued to live there, going about his daily routine, sleeping, eating, and even inviting people over, all while Denise's body lay decomposing just feet away. To make matters even more disturbing, investigators later discovered that Torrey had been researching ways to cover up his crime. His search history revealed queries like, how long does it take for a body to decompose? How to dispose of a body? And even, what chemicals can dissolve human remains? It's as if he believed he could erase what he had done, as if he could outsmart the inevitable. For weeks, neighbors noticed a foul odor coming from the apartment, but no one suspected the truth. Torrey continued to live his life, seemingly unperturbed by the horror hidden within those walls. But his actions were about to catch up with him in a way he never expected. Less than 2 months after Denise's murder, on December 8, 2022, Torrey Moore walked into a convenience store just blocks from his apartment. It was a place he frequented, a small, family-run shop where locals grabbed snacks, drinks, and everyday essentials. The clerk behind the counter that evening was Ayalu Wandamu, a 61-year-old Ethiopian immigrant known for his kindness and hard work. What happened next unfolded in a matter of minutes, but it would leave an indelible mark on the community. According to witnesses, Torrey got into an argument with Ayalu over something as trivial as a bottle of iced tea. The details of the dispute are murky. Some say it was about the price, others about a perceived slight. But whatever sparked the confrontation, it escalated quickly. In a fit of rage, Torrey pulled out a gun, the same gun, investigators later confirmed, that he had used to kill Denise. Without hesitation, he fired multiple shots at Ayalu, striking him in the chest and head. Ayalu collapsed behind the counter, dead before he hit the ground. Customers in the store fled in panic, and within minutes, the sound of sirens filled the air. Police arrived swiftly and apprehended Torrey at the scene. He didn't resist, didn't try to flee. It was as if the weight of his actions had finally caught up with him, or so it seemed. What officers discovered next would turn this case from a tragic shooting into one of the most shocking investigations in Silver Springs. Following Torrey's arrest for Ayalu's murder, detectives obtained a warrant to search his apartment. What they found inside would haunt even the most seasoned investigators. As they stepped through the door, they were hit with an overwhelming stench, a smell so pungent it could only mean one thing: death. In a bedroom closet, wrapped in a black trash bag, was the decomposing body of Denise Middleton. Her remains had been there for nearly 2 months, hidden away while Torrey went about his life. The medical examiner later confirmed that Denise had been shot in the head, and her unborn child had no chance of survival. The scene was described as one of the most disturbing discoveries in the department's history. The apartment was a treasure trove of evidence. In addition to Torrey's incriminating search history, detectives found the murder weapon, a handgun that ballistics tests linked to both Denise's and Ayalu's killings. They also discovered notes and text messages that painted a picture of a man spiraling out of control, consumed by paranoia and rage. Torrey Moore was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, one for Denise Middleton and one for Ayalu Wandamu, along with additional charges for the death of Denise's unborn child and illegal possession of a firearm. But the question on everyone's mind was, how could someone commit such heinous acts and live with the consequences for so long? The investigation into Torrey Moore's crimes was meticulous and exhaustive. Prosecutors pieced together a timeline that showed a man who was not only capable of cold-blooded murder, but also methodical in his attempts to avoid accountability. His internet searches were a roadmap of his intentions: how to plead insanity, can you get away with murder if you're mentally ill, and even what happens to a body in a trash bag. During the trial, which began in mid-2023, Torrey's defense team leaned heavily on claims of mental illness. They argued that he had a history of psychological issues, including depression and paranoia, which had spiraled out of control. They painted a picture of a man who was not in his right mind when he committed the murders. But the prosecution was ready with a mountain of evidence to counter these claims. The evidence was overwhelming. The surveillance footage, the ballistics reports, the search history, it all pointed to a man who knew exactly what he was doing. Prosecutors argued that Torrey's actions were calculated from the moment he killed Denise to the day he walked into that convenience store and took Ayalu's life. The jury deliberated for just a few hours before reaching a verdict. Torrey Moore was found guilty on all counts. In a packed courtroom, the judge handed down a sentence that reflected the gravity of his crimes. 3 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. 1 for Denise, 1 for her unborn child, and 1 for Ayalu. For the families of the victims, it was a small measure of justice in the face of unimaginable loss. The story of Torrey Moore is a harrowing reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked violence and untreated mental health struggles. Denise Middleton, a woman on the cusp of motherhood, and Ayalu Wandamu, a beloved member of his community, had their lives cut short in acts of senseless brutality. Their families are left to pick up the pieces, forever changed by the actions of one man. This case also shines a light on the intersection of domestic violence and mental illness. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence or struggling with mental health, please don't wait. Reach out for help. Resources are available, and no one should have to suffer in silence. Thank you for watching this deep dive into one of the most disturbing cases in recent memory. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on our latest videos. Share your thoughts below. What do you think drove Torrey Moore to commit these horrific acts?